Amazing quote. You might think you can live without Jesus, but you can't afford to die without him. Let's look a bit at nature and how God created this amazing world.
Нет, я в кровать. Вы меня простите, но я пошел.
Ты, конечно же, следом, да?
Он сделал вид, что так и планировал. Спокойной ночи.
Have you ever wondered how sounds make their way from the source all the way to your brain? Take a trumpet, for instance. When it's played, it makes sound waves in the air. The outer ear catches the waves, which then travel through a narrow passageway called the ear canal. The sound waves reach the eardrum, which is a membrane. They make the eardrum vibrate, which in turn vibrates 3 tiny bones called the malleus, incus, and stapes. These bones amplify or increase the sound vibrations and send them to the cochlea. The cochlea is shaped like a snail and is the size of a garden pea. It is filled with fluid, and the sound vibrations make this fluid ripple, which creates waves. Hair-like structures called stereocilia sit on top of hair cells and are grouped together as hair cell bundles inside the cochlea. The hair cells inside the cochlea ride these waves, and the hair bundles are moved. The hair bundle on top of the hair cell turns these movements into electrical signals. As the hair bundles are moved, ions rush into the top of the hair cells, causing the release of chemicals at the bottom of the hair cells. The chemicals bind to the auditory nerve cells and create an electrical signal, which travels along the auditory nerve to the brain. Different hair cells respond to different frequencies of sound. The hair cells at the base of the cochlea detect higher-pitched sounds, such as a piccolo or flute. The hair cells toward the top of the spiral detect progressively lower-pitched sounds, such as a trumpet or trombone. At the very top or apex of the spiral, the hair cells detect the lowest-pitched sounds, such as a tuba. The auditory nerve carries the electrical signal to the brain, which interprets the messages as sounds that we recognize and understand.
Look, these amazing statistics about Iceland. I think they call these areas the land of the midnight sun, where the sun never sets, I think in summer, 24 hours light a day.
You know, when people think of surfing, the last thing people consider is, surfing in the Arctic. The contrast of going to these harsh, remote environments and having surfing be your means of exploration, it doesn't get any better than that. I feel almost driven to document the Arctic, and in a lot of ways, Arctic surfing. Photography for me was a release. I wanted to immerse myself in the beauty of what I was seeing with my own eyes. And I felt like it became this kind of symbiotic relationship that really was the perfect medium of expression for me. As soon as I got a camera, I realized that this could be my vehicle to go experience the world. I love to travel. I'm a cold water fanatic. That's why I go to these cold, harsh environments. The clouds, the moodiness, the northern lights, it truly is beautiful and epic, and the surreal landscapes that come out of this North Atlantic Sea has really drawn me in.
When you're first paddling out, it's kind of a shock, and then within 2 minutes you start feeling your core temp drop.
And you make one little turn the wrong way and your wetsuit gets flooded, and it feels like electrifying.
The ocean, for years, has been considered by a lot of the locals in these places such a dangerous, scary place. And when you see, these professionals working in such an amazing way, riding storm surf with crazy undertows and huge currents and winds from some of the roughest seas in the world. But it all kind of comes together in this beautiful way when those storms do subside, and there's these glimpses in between, these harsh moments where you get perfection. We all want to see what's out there. We all want to push past that next headland and see if there's a better wave on the other side. And I think that experience is what draws you all closer. That community, I feel like it's like family.
At first glance, a kangaroo's pouch looks like nothing but a built-in baby sling. But if you peeked inside, you'd see it's far more complex than a simple pocket. It has to be, because the joey inside is not your average baby. An adult male red kangaroo can stand over 1.5 meters tall and weigh 90 kilograms. That's larger than a grown man. But the newborns start out the size of jelly beans. They're blind, deaf, and hairless to boot. After all, they only spend 33 days inside their mom before birth. That's like a human having a baby when she's 2 months pregnant. So the underdeveloped roo isn't ready to face the harsh Australian wilderness. That's where the pouch comes in. It's a pocket of skin that acts like a second womb, giving the joey a safe, cozy environment to grow. And like a pregnant belly, the pouch can stretch to fit the baby as it gets bigger. It's lined with powerful but flexible muscles and ligaments. To keep the joey safe, mom can tighten those muscles to shut the pouch flush against her body, just like pulling a drawstring bag closed. That bean-sized baby will reach the size of a large house cat. That's thousands of times its birth weight. That rapid growth is thanks to the pouch's 4 nipples, which spout milk that contains germ-fighting antibodies to keep the little roo from getting sick. But that's just the start. You see, the nutrient levels change to meet the baby's needs as it ages. Mom can produce multiple types of milk at the same time, so she can suckle 2 babies in different age groups simultaneously. Another special feature about the kangaroo pouch is that it's lined with sweat glands that release antimicrobial substances, which help protect the baby roos from harmful viruses, bacteria, and parasites. But there's one more way that pouch's design keeps the joey safe. It's totally hairless, and that skin-to-skin contact keeps the baby warm and cozy. Basically, it's the ultimate nursery. But nothing lasts forever. Eventually, the joey will need to leave the pouch. At about 5 months old, it pokes its head out, and a month later, it takes its first tentative steps into the world. There it will explore for a few short seconds before hightailing it home. But as it gets older and bolder, it stays out longer. Until 8 months in, it's ready to leave the nest, well, the pouch, for good.
Recognize this sound? If you pop or crack your joints, you probably do. What happens to our joints when we crack them? And is it bad for you? Synovial fluid is this lubricant-like substance that's found in between your joints. It kind of looks like an egg yolk. So when you stretch out your joint, you are releasing gas, and that gas forms a bubble and it collapses and pops. In order to crack the same knuckle again, you have to wait about 20 minutes for the gas to return back to that fluid. So how is that different from a pop you hear when you stand up quickly? The sound you're probably hearing then is the snapping sound tendons make when they slide between muscles or over bones. When a joint moves, the tendon snaps quickly over it and it makes a popping sound. So is a knuckle cracking habit safe? Probably. Donald Unger was sort of a self-described researcher who chose to pop the joints in one of his hands for 60 years, but not the other one. And he wanted to find out if popping your knuckles would actually give you arthritis. After 60 years of doing it, he found that he didn't have any more arthritis in one hand than in the other. Most medical sources agree with his findings.
Life is 1% of what happened to you and 99% what you do with it. Make a difference, work hard, be disciplined. Here's this guy from last week again, making sarcastic comments about actually what's wrong in life and with a lot of people. See if you can pick what he's saying. He's actually saying the opposite, obviously, but see if you can pick up the things he's saying. I think it's quite prevalent nowadays.
As a millennial, I'm part of the most advanced crop of humans that our species has ever seen. I love to go out and meet up with friends so we can all sit together looking down at our phones and message other friends who aren't there with us. When I was a kid, I always won the gold medal on the school's track team. I was only the 18th fastest kid, but I always won the gold medal. So did everyone else on the team. And the opposing team, because we were all the best. What that taught me is that hard work and determination are severe forms of abuse. I learned that I don't need to put effort into being great at something because I can just have people tell me that I'm great at that something instead. I'm great at everything I do. It also taught me that me and my family can file a lawsuit against anyone who doesn't give me a gold medal. I have 87 voicemails that I haven't checked, And I won't, because I'm appalled when people call me without texting me first to see if they can call me. It's so inconsiderate. Sorry for the interruption. I just thought the world was probably wanting an update. In the professional world, whenever I've had a manager, I've tried to schedule meetings with them for every 45 minutes so that they can go over my work and reassure me that I'm doing a good job. When they point out how my work can be improved, I get upset. I mean, some have even had the nerve to say that I can't take criticism. I'm not gonna listen to what those haters have to say. Haters gonna hate. I just need to work for myself. I need the freedom to be in control of my schedule and to do things my way. And the fact that I think self-responsibility is a form of cruelty and that I know exactly how to not know how to follow through on anything means there's a high probability that I'll be successful working for myself. Awkward. I love using one-word retorts instead of stringing together an actual sentence comprised of coherent thoughts. I also feel like they help show my huge depth of character. I'd like to thank my helicopter parents for always keeping me in a safe nest free of any challenges. Because just like baby birds, you'll never find your wings if you're pushed out of the nest. Never leaving the nest of comfort, that's what gives you the strongest wings. As a millennial, I just want to make an impact on this world. What were we talking about again?
A little bit about investing. Here's one of the world's greatest investors, Warren Buffett. If you had invested $1,000 with him in 1956, it would be worth $27.6 million at the end of 2006. And here's his partner, who's a billionaire and incredible investor. Look what he says about all the scams on investing on the internet, people promising you 300% or whatever. Warren Buffett's track record and what he got as investors was about 20%, 24% a year, approximately. So there's a lot of lying going on. If you invest at 20% a year, you will do very well over time.
If you take the modern world, where people are trying to teach you how to come in and trade actively in stocks, well, I regard that as roughly equivalent to trying to induce a bunch of young people to start off on heroin. It is really stupid. And when you're already rich, to make your money by encouraging people to get rich by trading. And then there are people on the TV, another wonderful place. And they say, I have this book that will teach you how to make 300% a year. And all you have to do is pay for shipping, and I will mail it to you. How likely is it that a person who had suddenly found a way to make 300% a year would be trying to sell books on the internet to you? And it's ridiculous. And yet I've described modern commerce. And the people who do this all day think they're useful citizens. The advertising agents that invent the lingo. So in insurance, they say, the two people who shifted from Geico to the Glotz Insurance Company saved $400 each. What they don't tell you is there are only two such people in the whole United States, and they were both nuts. But they mislead you on purpose. And I get tired of it. And I don't think it's right that we deliberately mislead people as much as we do.
Great attitude towards your worst mistakes. Look at this quote. You are not your worst mistake. Keep improving. Don't let it beat you down. Don't get very negative about it. Learn from it and keep improving.
This is a toroidal propeller. It gets its name from the blades, which are in the shape of a torus. These special donut-inspired blades are much more impressive than they first appear. In fact, they have proven their ability to more than double the propeller efficiency when used on a boat, which greatly increases speed and fuel economy. Not only that, but these propellers can massively reduce the noise of both drones and boats. In this video, we'll see how it does this and some examples of it in use. The physical difference between the toroidal prop and a standard prop is obvious when you look at them, but it is not immediately obvious why this has such huge benefits. However, if we look at these two operating next to each other, things start to become a bit clearer. Firstly, this is a comparison between a toroidal prop and a standard prop. You can see far less bubbles, known as cavitation, coming off of the blade tips, even though the blades are the same size and rotating at the same speed. This is because the toroidal prop generates less tip vortices, which can cause noise, vibration, and reduce efficiency. It is believed to do this because the vortices that would develop at the tips are instead spread across the whole blade. In this second comparison, we can see that the toroidal prop also brings in more surrounding fluid as it spins than the standard prop, as the die from further away is pulled into the blade. This gives a further increase in both efficiency and thrust. The two main toroidal propellers I've seen is the one from Sharrow, who have been focused on marine applications, and one from a research group at the Lincoln Laboratories within MIT, who have been focused on extremely quiet drones.
We came up with this initial concept of using this toroidal shape, this annular wing shape, to make hopefully a quieter propeller.
Let's listen to a boat using a standard and toroidal one. This is a pretty insane difference and can be seen on drones too, where these graphs show that a standard prop generates much more noise in the important frequency zones than a toroidal prop. For drones, on the other hand, more efficient flight may enable new possibilities for air travel and reduce disturbances to people and animals nearby. Clearly, this propeller has many benefits, but what are the drawbacks? The main one is that the complexity of the prop makes it more expensive to manufacture, as they are currently made using CNC machines or by being 3D printed. This makes the Sharrow prop cost around $5,000 compared to $500 for a standard one. However, as the boat would be cheaper to run due to its increased efficiency, it could earn this back over time. And if these become more popular, the cost will come down due to the economies of scale from mass manufacturing.
Look at these amazing quotes. You're always one decision away from a totally different life. Your decisions are so important. Change starts in your thoughts, how you think. Feed your mind growth material, the Bible, good content. Don't feed your mind junk. Watch these next video clips on bullets design, shooting. This also is used in aircraft design and aerodynamics.
Here it comes. Oh, that's a slow bullet.
You can see the shadow. Ooh, look how flat they all are.
I know. Whoa, that's pretty. Like yawed up like 5 degrees. Why would that be?
Oh, that was a big flash.
Ooh. And it went up. Probably because it was angled.
Why is it like that?
I imagine this is gonna look like the 9mm, but more of it.
Oh yeah.
Wow. But it's cool how some of the copper jacket sticks to some of the lead.
It's 45.
Uh-huh.
That's the 454.
Oh,
yes.
Twice as long.
This was out of the SIG P220, and this is gonna be out of a revolver. So.
Okay. So bigger cartridge means potential for more speed because of more gunpowder?
Yep.
Okay. Rifling spin is so satisfying. Got another spark.
Flash.
Completely tore up that sticker.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that radius.
Oh my.
Life is 1% of what happened to you and 99% what you do with it. Look at these young girls where the sister has got cancer and their amazing attitude and their love for each other. You choose how you handle things.
Why did you shave your head?
Because my sister's hair fell out and she was getting rid of the cancer, and now we'd look the same again.
You do? Why do you want to look like your sister though?
Because she's lovely.
She is, and I think you're lovely too.
She got sponsored and raised £1,200 to help me.
£1,200? Wow. Well, I need your names to put them in the paper so everyone knows how brilliant you are.
I'm Millie.
Millie.
I'm Lisa.
Lisa. My wife's name.
Where is she?
She's at home.
Why are you crying?
Because I'm happy.
Why are you crying if you're happy?
Make your life significant. You don't know the day of your death. Use every day, every opportunity. Look at this guy starting his own little channel about cooking. Whatever your passion is, turn it into business, no matter how small you are.
Let's make a bloomin' onion in an air fryer. I've finally done it. I've joined the air fryer gang. Slice down the sides of your onion. In one bowl, we'll add 2 eggs, and a ½ cup buttermilk. In our other bowl, 2 cups cornstarch, some Old Bay seasoning, and a nice pinch of salt. Dredge your onion in the dry mixture, then in your wet mixture, then back in the dry. Shake off that excess. I know it looks messy, but we'll dishwash the fryer basket when done. In goes our bloomin' onion. Add a little oil to get it crispy. Now 12 minutes at 400 Fahrenheit. For our bloomin' onion sauce, ½ cup of mayonnaise, 1½ tablespoons horseradish, 2 teaspoons ketchup, a little paprika, cayenne pepper, garlic powder, salt, and pepper. I like to add a squeeze of lemon too. Then look at that saucy sauce. Okay, look at that crispiness. The fact that I just fried this with 95% less oil is pretty freaking cool. This is good. Almost too good. That's insanely good.
Guys, be creative in all you do. Get into businesses that make positive impacts in people's lives. You're probably going to spend more time with your boss and at work than with your family. Get into industries that make a huge positive impact.
This is Abby, and she's putting on her new prosthetic arm for the first time. But this isn't a normal prosthetic. This is the most advanced 3D printed prosthetic ever made.
Typical prosthetic devices can cost anywhere from $20,000 to about $80,000. That's a big problem for growing children. You know, children outgrow a prosthetic device every 12 to 14 months.
The global prosthetics and orthotics industry is valued at $6 billion and controlled by a handful of players that have no incentive to lower their prices or change their operating models.
There's been no real structural change in the market for the last 50 years. There's been some technology improvements, but not a systematic change, which I think is really what's needed to, be able to make a significant impact. 40 million amputees worldwide, only 5% of them have access to prosthetic care and technology, and so we got to do better as an industry. And at Unlimited Tomorrow, we hope to be that force.
This is Easton LaChapelle, the CEO of Unlimited Tomorrow.
I use science fairs as an excuse to make something cool every year. I was a kid who loved to tinker and take things apart. I always had a curiosity for how things work and why things work. And when I was 14, I came up with an idea to make a robotic hand controlled using a control glove. I always wanted to go into robotics, but for me it was always a kind of this far-fetched career like making robots.
Then one day, Easton met a 7-year-old girl at a science fair whose story would change his life. She had an $80,000 prosthetic arm, made with technology less sophisticated than what Easton, a 14-year-old, was developing in his bedroom.
This little girl would soon outgrow this. It was heavy, bulky, it didn't really look human-like, it was extremely expensive, and I just expected better from the world of technology. There's just gotta be something better. And the more I looked into this, there really wasn't.
Easton decided to try to fix this problem, and quickly caught the attention of some celebrities interested in making an impact.
I was just about to graduate high school, and I got a call from Tony Robbins, and a couple months later, we formed the company Unlimited Tomorrow. I wasn't 18 at the time, so I had to wait until I could legally own a company for the deal to go through. Starting a business at 18 was a huge challenge. It wasn't easy to jump straight into the startup environment and to run a business. I didn't feel like I knew what to do. I didn't feel like I had the skill sets. It took so much trial and error and learning from so many different mediums, lots of different books, presentations, and videos, and courses. There's a lot of challenge when you find yourself in this situation. It's extremely motivating, but it is hard.
Guys, start a business that makes a difference, or work with people that make a difference in this world. Look what the Bible says about the honorable woman, about how amazing this woman is. She rises while it is still night and gives food to her household and portions to her maids. She considers a field and buys it. From her earnings she plants a vineyard. Look here, this woman's a businesswoman. She's an entrepreneur. She makes linen garments and sells them and supplies belts to the tradesmen. Strength and dignity are her clothing, and she smiles at the future because she works hard. She's disciplined. Guys, work hard, be disciplined. Many of these things I say in these classes, I also struggle with. I'm not bringing up things I don't need. That is why I play these videos. This is why I give this content, because I too, day for day, must pay the rent of success and do it myself.
Easton overcame those initial hurdles and put together a team focused on figuring out how to bring down the cost of manufacturing an advanced prosthetic.
There's a lot of middlemen, there's a lot of insurance billing, it's staggered. A lot of times people have to travel across the states to see a specialist. That's where you end up with an $80,000 device when it doesn't really need to cost that.
To bring down the cost, Unlimited Tomorrow has brought the entire process in-house. They send customers a 3D scanner to scan their residual limb at home. Then they use those scans to create a set of check sockets, which are shipped to the customer for a video evaluation with Unlimited Tomorrow's clinical team to assess comfort and fit. This is repeated until the fit is perfect. Then the team 3D prints, assembles, and tests the device before it's shipped and ready to train.
They could bring clinicians and expertise in-house. Instead of having kind of this distributed model, have remote care, and we could essentially democratize a lot of the system. We could work with more and more people and eventually get up to a global level through this type of distribution and remote fitting process, such as sense of touch, easy to use movement, and it's also extremely lightweight and durable. And we believe that this is setting a foundation for global change within this industry. Up to date, we've produced hundreds of True Limbs. True Limb is literally a fraction of the cost of traditional prosthetic devices. It's $7,995 for everybody. And for children who outgrow a device, it's about $4,000, half that.
Unlimited Tomorrow's program for children who outgrow their True Limb ensures children can grow with their device by sending their True Limb back for a new shell and socket fitting process. This keeps prices low for their parents.
I wish you could feel it. It's so different. I have never experienced the sensation of having fingers that move like that on this side of my body. I wonder if I can I just got this open. I've never done that in my life, what I just did. I've never done that. I can't even describe to you the sensation. Like, I first put it on, it was like, that felt cool, but when that thing moved and gripped and held that stuff, that was special.
Every time a True Limb leaves our door, I feel incredibly humbled and proud of our product and what we've created. We see these videos and pictures and these incredible emails that we get from people who are using these devices that might be able to hold a family member's hand and walk their dog for the first time. You know, little moments like that always stand out to me.